What disturbs me more than the policy that you call a policy is the rationale for the policy. We must not become part of South Africa's problem. We must remain part of their solution. We must not aim to impose ourselves, our solutions, our favorites in South Africa. Damn it, we have favorites in South Africa. The favorites in South Africa are the people who are being repressed by that ugly white regime. We have favorites. Our loyalty is not to South Africa, it's to South Africans. And the South Africans are majority black, and they are being excoriated. It is not to some stupid puppet government over there. We have no loyalty to South Africa, to South Africans. They've tried everything for the last 20 years. They begged, they borrowed, they crawled, and now they're taking up arms.
Let me say that I hate to hear a senator of the United States calling for violence.
I hate to hear
exactly what you're doing.
I hate to hear an administration and a Secretary of State refusing to act on a morally abhorrent point. I hate to hear this country. I'm ashamed that this country puts out a policy like this that says nothing.
Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And as usual, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. Folks, in this episode, we are taking a break from the Nigeria heavy thing we've been doing to the United States. Elections are coming up in the United States soon. And in Igbo land, where I come from, there's a saying that goes like this, Ebonye biko na-awachi, which is more or less saying that charity begins at home. Home for me in this case means the United States of America. That's where my primary residence has been for the last 46 years, even though I go to Nigeria often, and Nigeria is home, where it all started for me. And in this election coming up, immigrant Africans in America especially, but black people in general in America, have to take this election very seriously. We need to remove our sentiments and let our brains do the thinking for us. The reason being that in life, you don't always have a perfect situation. But we've had a lot of situations where imperfections were turned to perfections. In this election, black people and minorities in general have to do whatever it takes to make the best of a bad situation. If you notice my introduction with Joe Biden, Senator Joe Biden in 1986, you saw the fire that was coming out of him. Joe Biden, in that debate on the Senate floor in 1986, was on the right side of history. Today, in 2024, Native Africans in America and black people in America need to make sure that they stay on the right side of history and vote on the right side of history. Candidates don't always have to be perfect. Debates don't always tell the whole story. But the results that we achieve with a candidate can tell more and do more than the sound bites we hear in a debate. But more importantly, any black person in America, and immigrant Africans especially, really don't have a choice here. We know who Donald Trump is. He has played his card. He has shown his hand. It doesn't matter what lies he tells. He is an expert on lies. Anybody who knows Donald Trump knows that he was a born natural liar. And every black person in America that has followed politics and civil rights knows who Joe Biden is. Folks, a 5% effective Joe Biden can do more for humanity, can do more for immigrant Africans, and can do more for black Americans and minorities in America and third world countries than a Donald Trump functioning and faking his way at 200% of his effectiveness. Donald Trump's effectiveness is crooked effectiveness. Donald Trump has never achieved anything that did not involve trumped up numbers, all pun intended, crooked numbers, crooked records, crooked filings. And to get black votes and immigrant African votes, the only human way Donald Trump can get immigrant African votes is through trumped up promises, every pun intended, crooked numbers, lies, and crooked filings about what he will claim that he represents in the life of black people and immigrant Africans. Come with me on this journey as I try to paint you the picture of who Donald Trump is, but also tell you what you already know, which is who Joe Biden is. Folks, now let's go back to that debate. Biden, no doubt, had some lapses at that debate. But if you listen to some of his responses, and I mean more of his responses than the few lapses, you see that he really still has it for an 81-year-old man. And while we're drumming up this age thing, there's wisdom that comes with age, especially when we're dealing with somebody who is innately a good person. Let's listen.
President Biden, 7 states, I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
Okay, guys, that was strong enough. And in response, let's listen to Donald Trump lie. That's what he does best. But even at the end of his lies, you notice that Biden came back strong again in defense of something that is very important to women. Listen.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
White lies. White lies. Now let's hear this lady. I think she's a white Jamaican. Listen to her come to the defense of Biden very vigorously.
Wake up! Stop with this bullshit. And CNN, they're a fucking disgrace to the news media. Who has an abortion at birth? That's called murder. In every 50 state. And not only every 50 state, everywhere around the world, that's called murder. You fucking people listen to this shit. How do you stand it? To listen to this shit and lies. How? How?
Now listen to Biden again come back after the lady, but in response to Donald Trump's lies. Listen.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period, period. 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Now, folks, if you don't know who Donald Trump is, listen to who he thinks black people are. And listen to the kind of jobs and the kind of place Donald Trump thinks black people belong in America. And these are the discussions I said, talk to your children. Don't argue with them. Don't say they are wrong. Have a conversation with them to try and bring them away from this brainwashing liar called Donald Trump. Listen to this.
The fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Now, listen to this lady try to find out from CNN and whoever is listening what the hell is a black job. Listen.
What is a black job? What the fuck is a black job? This man is from the original KKK. His father was arrested at a Klan rally in the 1920s, 30s, or 40s. I don't remember when. He grew up with hatred for black people. He only has these other black people like Byron Donalds around him who spouts off bullshit. What is a black job? Why did he specifically say black job? Oh, I think I know what it is. So the blacks are to go back on the plantation and do the menial labor. That's what he means. Because normally this is how it works, people. And if any of you are paying attention, you will understand it. Every immigrant class that comes to America starts out with menial jobs. Look at what they did to the Irish. Do you remember? They weren't even allowed to have jobs, or certain jobs. This was all also with Jim Crow. Black people were not allowed to have certain jobs. And here we are again out of Trump's mouth about black jobs.
Now, for all you blacks, including our immigrant African children, I don't mean kids, I mean grown adults that were born here, voting age, professional Africans living in America, born in America. She's talking to you now. Now, miss, please tell our children, what do you have to tell them about Donald Trump? I'd like them to hear it directly from your mouth.
In other words, you black people in this country are not worthy. And the ones who are running after that fucking KKK leader called Trump, you are a traitor to your race. He doesn't give a shit about any of you. But I would love somebody to explain to me what a black job is. I would love it.
You really can't stand Donald Trump, can you? But regardless of your position on abortion, with men like Donald Trump, do you think abortion would have been a good idea? I know my viewers would like to know what you think.
This man is the nastiest piece of work that is on this planet. This is why there has to be abortion, because his mother should have aborted that fucker. All of these autocrats, they should have been aborted. All of the upheaval in the world is men. The black people of this country better realize that people like this, with Stephen Miller, all of it is all white supremacy. And our democracy is on the line.
Now, black people and Africans especially, native Africans, immigrant Africans that moved to America like me, that are citizens, Nigerians especially. Think about this picture. Donald Trump in America as a dictator. The Supreme Court in America just had a decision that more or less gives the President of the United States immunity to do whatever he wants to do, and he cannot be tried for any atrocities he commits as President of America. A Clinton could govern under that rule and not do anything wrong. And Obama could go by that rule and still not commit any atrocities. George W. Bush, Sr. and Jr., even Ronald Reagan and Biden, these are good, conscientious people. But when you make a law like that and hand Donald Trump the presidency of the United States with laws like that, I feel sorry for any group he doesn't like, any political opponent he doesn't like, and any things he doesn't think make sense and he wants to change. He's gonna break every rule. That's what you face. If you either don't vote because you claim your vote doesn't count, or you vote for Donald Trump. The only vote that counts in this election coming is a vote for Joe Biden. Listen to this lady talk about the threat of a Trump presidency and the gift the Supreme Court just handed him. A lot of people really haven't digested the magnitude of the decision that the Supreme Court made 2 weeks ago, giving immunity to the President of the United States, meaning that the President cannot be tried for any laws they break or any atrocities they commit while they are President of America. Can you please shed some light on it based on an ABC elementary breakdown of what the ramifications of this new law is?
So yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled that the president is immune from criminal prosecution. So I'm going to say something right now that may sound extreme to you, but this is not an exaggeration. Please listen to me very carefully. This decision is a blueprint for dictatorship. This decision lays the groundwork for a president to do whatever they want, whenever they want, to whomever they want. And the only thing standing in the way of that happening is you.
Great. But you know my audience, sometimes I want it broken down. Not that they don't understand, but when things are critical, I like breaking it down to ABC. 2 things you said. The only thing standing in the way are your voice, your vote. Can you break that down exactly what you mean? And how did this Supreme Court, in a democracy that we have been so proud of, we used to say, this can't happen in America, this can't happen in America. How did we get to this kind of court?
Your voice, your vote. Okay, let me explain. So, according to the Supreme Court, the conservative court that was made possible by Trump's first term in office, according to that court, the President of the United States is now immune from criminal prosecution for actions he takes as a president while in office. So what does that mean? Well, as my sister from the Bronx, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, explained, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said that that decision means that Trump could order the military to kill a political opponent with 0 consequences. So this is how democracies in other countries have failed in recent years. It's not by wars, it's not by coups, it's through elected governments using methods to chip away at the power of the people until we have no power at all to hold those governments accountable.
You're really scaring me. And I think you're scaring my viewers too. And that's why I would like you to really break it down. Why is this a very dangerous thing? And it calls for us to desperately be reaching out to every Biden voter we know and every Biden hanging voter to convince them that the only vote that counts is to vote for Biden. So please break this down.
So if Donald Trump is reelected, there will be very little that we can do to stop him from using the power of the White House however he wants. There are reasons to feel frustrated with our democracy. I get it. I feel it. We have a long fight ahead of us to have this country really live up to its ideals.
Can you please explain to voters that every vote counts? I run into so many people who listen to the polls and conclude that this is gonna be lost, my vote doesn't count. Please explain it to them that every vote counts on election day.
But this year, I am telling you, our actual freedom is on the ballot. And I am terrified that the belief that too many of us have that our votes don't matter could mean that one day in the very near future, they actually won't matter at all. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you. I want to inform you. I want to remind you of the power that you do have. Right now, it is not too late. You have power. You can share this video with friends and family and loved ones. I think voting is an act of self-love, of self-care. Voting and volunteering, donating to organizations that fight for democracy. These are the things that we can do, that we have to do to take care of ourselves and our community and each other right now. Please, this country needs you. Your voice matters. Your vote matters. You matter.
America is challenged in this election, considering the fact that you have two very old people running. People from Rwanda have a home to go to and feel comfortable. Even people from Kenya, Uganda, all those places have a place to go to and feel comfortable. Nigerians have no place to go and feel comfortable. The threat of Donald Trump in America, for an outspoken Nigerian like me, the threat of Donald Trump in America is child's play compared to what an outspoken opposition person in Nigeria will face if they have to go to Nigeria or Cameroon. These are the reasons why every Nigerian person in America and every Cameroonian person in America have no business staying away from voting because they feel I have to work, I don't have time, or my vote doesn't count. You have no business sitting home on election day in November. You must go out there and cast your vote for Joe Biden. Your peace of mind depends on it. Your progress depends on it. Your job depends on it. Your children's welfare depend on it. Let's not let this one slip away from us. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
When your mazolo bio, akwa mazolo bio, Max, if you bunye go kwanu mo no fube nazo olaga ni piazugo, mama olaga do ni piazugo, akwa nwa ilochi o biko rapuzo, kona bazia. Never be kitchen for I'm a Guamnica Bugadia. Well, you work well. He catch up a bag. Eku Campune Kene Amagon din so. Chukwu negaji esi nwanne m ekene ịlapụl ife niile na-eme wee bịa ka gosili na anyị na gị bụ nwanne wisdom gaji ka nye gị maịkị ka ogobanya bụ egwu isili maxi ọ bụ na-etiri egwu a malụkwa malụ n'imego m ife m ife ọkụ na-echọlụ na ngeme wisdom onume ekene gị ọgbamanwụ iyo iyo biko lapụ zoro 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 Bieduru joy na bugwu Hausa Sokoto Ujembe nwilo anụ solo nwe nwe ma n'ọfịa na-ara onye nwe